anyone who's unfamiliar with Hot Shots, but what is this short film? What's the pitch?
Yeah, Hot Shots is a rebellious comedy set in the sexy world of Spokane bikini baristas. And while it's super sexy, tantalizes, and entertains, it's really about community rallying together against a common cause.
Give me them good times. Give me them good times. Give me them good times.
Shout out to Jinx Universe for letting me use his track, Good Times. We're going to have some good times right here on the podcast today. But before we do any of that, I got to do the intro. What is up, Black City, and welcome back to Spokast. It is me, Brennan, and before you get too excited, no, I'm not officially back, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't getting the itch to do more of these, and some conversations are worth dusting the mic off for, and this is definitely one of them. So, back in December of 2024, I sat down with Jeremy Urann and Sherri Bylenga, a brother and sister filmmaking duo from right here in Spokane, Washington, to talk about their short film, Hot Shots. It is a queer comedy about a bikini barista stand, and it will be shooting here locally. And right now, it is in its final days of its Seed and Spark crowdfunding campaign. Now, I know you might be doing the math. December 2024. Why are we just hearing this right now? Well, the original plan was for the episode to drop ahead of filming in 2025. Things got paused. You're going to hear about that in the interview. So this one sat in the vault. And honestly, I'm very glad it did, because it turns out the perfect time to release this is right now, when it can actually do the thing it was always meant to do, help get this film made. So as I'm recording this, they're a little over halfway there, just past $10,000 of their $20,000 goal, with over 80 supporters behind them. They just need to hit 16,000 to get it funded. We got to close that gap fast. So we're going to talk all about that here on the podcast. And this is genuinely one of those moments where your latte money that you're spending every day can help move the needle to get this short film made. Now, I know there is a ton going on in Spokane right now. Between the fires and everything else, a lot of us are stretched thin. And if you can't give, completely understand that. But maybe you know someone who can, or even if you can't give $1, following the campaign on Seed and Spark is completely free and helps them earn festival fee waivers, and sharing it costs you nothing. So get on the social medias and help share this. Everything you need is in the show notes of this podcast, the Seed and Spark campaign, their website, hotshotsthemovie.com, and their Instagram is at hotshotsthemovie. And do yourself a favor. Don't forget the and that website. Trust me on this one, or don't, and you'll maybe learn something about yourself. So here's the plan. What you're going to hear is a brand new catch up with Jeremy and Sherri that I've filmed this morning on where Hot Shots is right now in 2026. And after that, you'll hear the full conversation from December of 2024. So without further ado, here are Jeremy Urann and Sherri Bylenga, the brother and sister duo behind what I know will be a cult hit, Hot Shots. This is Spokast. I'm back here with Jeremy and Sherri, and we're gonna get all talking about the Hot Shots short film that's happening that you guys are putting on Seed and Spark. I'm so excited. I got to be on set with you both. I wasn't really, I guess I'll call it a set, and got to film a couple of promos, and it was just so much fun to just see you both and kind of just be on a set. I've done that a couple times, and it was so professional what you were doing at the coffee stand, and I wasn't expecting this. I was like, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna film in a car, and there's gonna be a barista across from me, and but you were filming it like it was a movie, so it's cool. So
thank you, Brendan. You were a star. I love, there's a moment in the promo clip where I could tell you're about to break and it's adorable, but you were just
I should have warned you. I'm bad at being on screen. I like to break. I can't, everything takes me a couple shots, but I'm glad that, the milkshake exploding on my face and shirt like worked out so well, because I had multiple people message me and they're like, what in the world, Brennan? And I'm like, go support. Like,
what are you doing? We did that one shot. That was a one-shot wonder.
It was a one-shot wonder. It would have been hard to clean up. So I'm glad it worked out. Before we get in,
no backups.
Before we get into Hot Shots, I want to kind of just get an update. Going back and forth to do this little conversation we're going to have. You mentioned that you could do a couple hours on Thursday and Friday because you're on set, Jeremy. Can you tell us what you're doing? What are you filming?
Yeah, I'm actually on the next Avengers movie. It's huge. I'm just kidding. I'm modeling for Kohl's.
I don't think you can tell me that, right?
I'm going to break all my NDAs. Yeah, NDAs out the door, honey. No, I'm on set for Kohl's. I do big and tall modeling. So that's kind of how I fuel a lot of my filmmaking things.
You announced it earlier this week or last week that you're going to be on the next episode of Dancing with the Stars, the next pro that's coming out on August 17th. Can you share how that came about?
Totally. Finally, that NDA is over, honey. I got invited. I got called by a producer and was like, hey, can you be in Australia in 2 weeks? And I was like, hell yeah. Got to go to Brisbane, Australia, where we filmed Dancing with the Stars, the next pro. And it was so cool. We went not knowing if we were going to actually be on the show or not, because 6 of us flew down, but only 5 were going to compete because people were getting eliminated as we were in air. So it was a stressful experience at first, and then it didn't stop. It was 5 days of shooting with 1 day off that we went to the zoo. But it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. Nonstop dance, so hot in Australia. And I got to meet legends like Mark Ballas, Shirley Ballas, Whitney Carson, Robert Irwin. He roared at me.
That's awesome.
Not many people can say Robert Irwin roared at them. So
they can't. Is this like a one-off episode that you're like, and you're dancing with the next pros, or?
That's right. So the whole premise of the show is professional dancers are competing to be the lead dancers on the primary show. And so we got introduced as celebrity talent for the episode.
Gotcha.
So essentially my job was to suck and be really hard to coach. And I was.
That's awesome. Sure. What have you been up to over the last year and a half since we last did our first podcast?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm still in post-production on a documentary that Jeremy and I have been working on about terrain.
Okay.
Spokane Social Justice Arts Nonprofit in Spokane. And so we're getting really close on that, which is exciting. We just met with an animator, brought them on board. We're working with some local musicians for the score, which is really exciting.
That's really cool.
And then I also am a mental health counselor. So I have my private practice that I do with that as well.
Awesome. I just saw my mental health counselor right before this. So I will say, like, what you do is invaluable to people, like to your clients. Like I get to go and unload on my therapist once a week. And if I had to do that to my wife once a week, she would go insane. So and I already do it to her once a week, but having a therapist that's like kind of see me through the life's up and down is very important. And I would encourage any adult who is thinking about getting therapy, like, go do it. I want to give everyone a little update about anyone who's unfamiliar with Hot Shots, but what is this short film? What's the pitch?
Yeah, Hot Shots is a rebellious comedy set in the sexy world of Spokane bikini baristas. And while it's super sexy, tantalizes, and entertains, it's really about community rallying together against a common cause. And that cause is patriarchy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the story surrounds our protagonist is June. She's this bikini barista who's been scraping and saving with this dream of opening her own shop. And she's been dealing with this misogynistic boss, but the vision that she has is, you know, the first queer coffee shop Spokane has ever seen. And, you know, in a lot of ways, I think we really relate to June. It feels like to be an indie filmmaker in the world right now is quite the hustle. Like you have to have that dream like so solid, and it has to be coming from the center of your soul, because you're just going to have to work and grind and, you know, count the little gains as big success. And
yeah, no, that's awesome. I feel like this is a story that needs to be told in Spokane right now, considering what just happened with a specific coffee shop in Hilliard. Is they put a sign up that is the very anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ plus, like that was just like, it kind of created an uproar in the community. But then on Facebook, you get a bunch of people just making the craziest comments, like supporting this business. And I'm like, how are there people in our community that are living here that are like, this is okay with me, I'm going to go support this business now because they're saying exactly how I feel. And I'm like, it hurts my heart that people like that exist. And I think that's why this is an important story to tell. And I know that's not why you originally created it, but like it seems to be like it needs to be told, right?
You know what, Brendan, though, something that speaks to that, when we first started our script, we included a lot of that hate in it. So it had like a presence in our script. And Sherri and I, working with our mentors in Washington Filmworks, Fozzie Mirza and Juan Moss, we're like, no, actually, the way to combat this is to create a situation in which that hate doesn't have a voice. And instead, we're showing an example of queer people and women thriving in their community and community rallying around them. So what if we depict the opposite, and then people get a chance to see themselves in a way that is successful and celebratory?
Yeah, you're essentially fighting hate with love and not like putting, like, yeah, it's a great message to send to people. It's like, we don't even need to make them a part of this. We're going to just be all about love. I love that.
I love love. Can I get an amen?
Absolutely. Amen. So when we first talked in 2024, this was a feature. You had a budget of like $500,000 and now it's a 17-minute short. Like, walk us through that pivot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of the first big, like, sort of curves in our path was we had the opportunity to workshop the script at Western Washington University's script lab. They call it the test kitchen. So it was a week long. We had cast and crew from Western Washington University. As much as possible, we were working with almost all queer folk and definitely all allies. And it was just the most incredible experience, like to have the characters really come to life, for them to like just become like fully embodied. We got to culminate with a live audience reading. And
oh, cool.
And, you know, actually, Jeremy and I worked out a lot of the nuance of like how much of the sort of hate and the environmental conflict do we bring into the screenplay versus how much do we focus on the pure joy. So that was a huge opportunity that we wanted to take time, and decided after that to then go back into rewrites and really let the script develop more. So that was kind of one of the first turning points.
And the second part of that is budget and funding, right? So getting an indie film funded right now, you have to have an already established audience that believes in the product. So our goal with the 17-minute proof of concept is to do just that, prove our concept and reach our audience. So we're going to create, it's essentially our first act of our film, distilled down to the juiciest bits. And once the short stops, it is a nonstop roller coaster to the end. It's a one day, will June get the shop or won't she? That's the big question. And if she does, what happens then?
Yeah.
So we have to, and we're hoping with this short, not only to do festivals, but to build a community around this project in Spokane, in the Northwest, and within the queer community to really rally around us so then we can take the next step and shoot the feature.
We talked in the interview that you're on track to start filming in 2025. And then this workshop happened in 2025. And that's kind of what made us all kind of adjust a little bit and kind of reflect on what you were creating, essentially.
Yeah, and the project got so much better from the workshop. I mean, we had 15 paid actors and professors devoting their entire week to making HOTSHOTS as best as it can be. And the script, just that kind of opportunity is so rare. I'm lucky I'm an alumni of Western Washington University, so we had that opportunity. And so HOTSHOTS is better for it. Our proof of concept is better for it. We're more prepared as directors and creators. Like, we are ready to knock this out.
That's awesome. You know, you have you have your own jobs and you're doing a lot of, so this is kind of, I wouldn't say a side project. It's a big side project, but what else have you been doing to like kind of work up to start filming here and soon here in 2026?
Well, I will say another sort of factor, I think, in the journey of the film has been like after we did go back and do our rewrites, we started meeting with some producers. We started meeting with some financiers. And honestly, like HOTSHOTS is not commercially viable. It's like between the outrageousness of the comedy and the bikinis and especially like the queer themes, it's like Jeremy said, we really sort of have to find our audience. And I think what's really powerful about the film is that, you know, on the face, like it leads with this familiar objectification, like women in bikinis, in a bikini barista stand. But I think what's really unique about the queer community is like how sexuality is more of an empowerment element than it is like there's this transition into empowerment. And we really want that to come through in the actual process of making the film. So we want to have our cast and crew be super female, super queer. And that takes a lot of development. That takes a lot of like reaching out and working on smaller projects with people and seeing if it's a good fit, because honestly, the film industry is not very representative of like women and queer folk. And so part of that was us shooting the promotional content that you got to come and be a part of. Almost the entire cast and crew was either female, queer, or an actual bikini barista, with the exception of you. Yeah. And absolutely allies.
Allies, baby.
I was tossing around to ask this question out, but I feel like this is a big thing in Hollywood where like, especially with like the Odyssey coming out and like the right wingers saying that there's a woke agenda here. What do you say to people that come at you with that? Like that say like, you're just trying to push this woke agenda on the world. And like, and I know it's not about that, but like, there's so many people that are out there that are saying that on boards or wherever on Facebook.
Listen, if the woke agenda, I say we're pushing the female and queer agenda, right?
Yeah.
So we're pushing for celebratory stories of women and queer people in film, period. Yeah. And if you want to accuse us of that, guilty as charged, like that is what we believe in, right? So for people who are closed-minded, for people who choose hate over love, is our film for them? I think yes, too, because I hope it will open their hearts and minds, right? So like this isn't our story isn't a message film. Like we're not out here.
Right.
We're trying to inspire by showing something that could exist, a world where people rally around each other in a beautiful way. And we need more of that. And we're not so separated. The world isn't as binary as they want us to believe. We're all humans on the same earth and they pit us against each other, but we have so much more in common than we do apart.
The whole idea of something being woke is just like, I never understand like why that's such a negative thing to be like awakened to something. I've never understood the term. Like, and I had a conversation with someone about the Odyssey and about how they casted Elliot Page. And I'm just like, how is Christopher Nolan casting Elliot Page a bad thing? And especially that way that character, even though the character's only on the screen for like 5 minutes, he tells such a powerful story with what happens to Sinan. And I'm like, there needs to be more stories featuring people that need to be represented in Hollywood. That's not a new thing. And I feel like LGBTQ plus community is not featured heavily in Hollywood. And there needs to be people like you making short films that say, hey, this is viable and people want this to be made. And I think that's why this is so special, is that this no one's ever told a story like this, honestly.
Also, woke agenda is just an inflammatory way of saying representation. Yes, we are pushing for representation versus the erasure that they would have, where we just don't exist in history. We've never had a place. Women have never had power or autonomy over their bodies. That's the lie. That is the inflammatory truth. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to bring back the reality of like, we're humans, we exist, and we deserve equality in every aspect of everything.
Right. That's so true. So the Seed and Spark campaign is live right now. There's only a handful of days left. We're recording this on Friday. I'm going to try to get this episode out immediately after we record this. But how can people help out right now?
Yeah,
money. I'll let Sherri take this one.
I mean, we recognize, like, we started this campaign, and 10 days later, the fires hit Spokane, probably the most devastating, natural disaster to hit Spokane. And, so many people displaced, and then so many people just beautifully rallying around and contributing and supporting the community. And, like, that's so beautiful. That's what's so beautiful about Spokane. Like, despite the differences that there may be culturally in Spokane, I feel like in those moments, people really come together. But that makes it a tricky time to be fundraising, right?
Right.
And so if you're in a position to give to the film, we really, because we have this donor match until the end of the campaign, we just have to we'd love to get to our full goal, but we have to get to 80% in order to take home the pledges so far. And so that means from the community, we need about $3,333 in the next 7 days. That's a beautiful number. And so obviously pledging, but then also like sharing, helping us get this campaign to people outside of Spokane, to people who, and the film is about like women and queer folk, but honestly, like at the heart of the film is this like working class hustle and like the energy of working in the customer service industry and the way that creates like a family bond and like the obstacles we can overcome. And I mean, Jeremy and I, we come from a working class background for sure. We don't have connection to wealth. And so, all this whole campaign has been built on small, so generous. Every person who has given, it's such a generous donation, I know. But it's a whole community that's building this so far.
Definitely. I was going to say anyone who has donated or is, and maybe they're like, well, I need more people to find this, like direct message people, like send this to your mom. Hey mom, I really think this is an important project. Like, can you give $50? Like all the old people out there, like who have a kid that have supported this, like send messages to your parents.
For real. Yeah.
So and earlier this week, you announced that there's a mystery donor that will match and double any donation from here until the campaign ends on August 20th. How did that come about? Who is this something you can talk about? As I should ask.
Shh, it's secret. We were super lucky. I mean, when you plan your crowdfunding campaign, you have to like think from day one all the way to the end. So we were lucky enough to find someone who believes in HOTSHOTS as much as we do. And they said, hey, if you're not getting there by the end, I'll match donations. But they did want to remain anonymous, so we respect that. We know our film is a little outrageous and sexy and cool, and that's not always something people want to put their face on right away, especially when it's new. I think people are scared of new ideas. Even though that's what we all crave the most in this world of AI and everything is a digital replica, right? So we're trying to come at you guys with new material. We see it in the horror space, movies taking off, but we need more of the support in the queer, female, and comedy spaces.
Like when people donate, you post like that they have donated and that you feature them. Like that's part of the Seed and Spark campaign. Like donate $25 and you get a shout out on social media. Was that right? Is that the right level or is it 50?
That's right, baby.
And I did see one name up there that I think we can talk about is I saw Mark Duplass and he donated, and like, that's someone who's in Hollywood doing amazing. I mean, he was in, I forget I can't think of what the movie's called right now, but he's a director, writer, actor in Hollywood. And he saw that this should be supported. And that's freaking amazing that Mark Duplass is supporting the film too.
Yeah. There's actually kind of a story with that. Sherri, do you want to tackle that one?
Well, yeah, I mean, so like Mark Duplass, total like indie film hero. And also someone who's worked with their sibling, which is incredible. He's created films with his brother. And it's actually through, so Seed and Spark has a patron circle fund. And so Mark Duplass is contributing to the project through Seed and Spark's patron circle.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. We're announcing that, I think, Saturday that we got the patron circle. So Seed and Spark believes in our project and is voting for us as well. And Mark Duplass is backing that up.
That's cool. So like, yeah, so there'll be a big push at the end of this, and they're kind of there to help support that. And that's cool. And Backrooms is what I'm thinking of. Backrooms.
Oh, yes.
He was in that. And I guess, and he was also brought on the film to like kind of help like mentor Kane Parsons, who's like 20 years old making movies in Hollywood that are making hundreds of millions of dollars, which is where this is going to go. Ultimately, like you make this short film and then you enter it into different festivals, and hopefully from a festival, it will then someone will pick up an option to buy a feature. Is that like, how do you see that? Like that's how I see it going, is you're going to enter this into festivals. It's going to win awards, and then people are going to be interested in making the full length thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely the dream, right? Is that you'll find someone, especially an executive producer who has relationships with financiers and people in the distribution side of it, that believes in the project as much as we do, reads the full script, is obsessed, because why wouldn't they be?
Right.
But I think too, because we're first-time feature film directors, we are in post on a documentary, but it's a different ball game and narrative. This proof of concept is a way to prove us as storytellers, what's our unique tone, our message. And so this is like, all our dreams are wrapped up in this little baby proof of concept, but that's not scary. That's exciting, because we're prepared. We've been preparing for 3 years to direct this together. I absolutely love working with Cher Bear. She's such a genius. She's so smart on the technical side of it. And I've been working my butt off in Hollywood, doing as many movies, shorts, web series, directing pilots as I can to prepare for this moment and bring it back to Spokane, our hometown.
That's cool.
We just want people to give us that shot.
I feel like it's going to happen, and I feel like we'll even get over that 100% mark and get more. And as this comes to an end, the Seed and Spark, like next steps is filming it, and that's, you're fast tracking that to happen soon too, correct?
Yeah, we're looking at this fall.
Okay. Anyone who's like wants to be a part of the film or like help out, like, is there a way for like, besides the Seed and Spark, is there a way for people to like, I don't know how that works. Like, I don't think you're looking for people to volunteer time on set, but like there's ways people can help once the filming's happening.
Totally. You can reach out to fatgratitude@gmail.com. Fat Gratitude Productions is our house for making the movie. And then also, we're looking for local businesses in Spokane to collaborate with, whether that's featuring their products or creating content around their brand in association with HOTSHOTS, the movie, and actors. We're really looking for creative collabs that are local, queer, and female.
I want HOTSHOTS to happen as a short, and then it pick up so much steam that it like becomes a feature, but then like someone actually opens up a hotshot stand here in Spokane. Like, I think that would be amazing.
We've had the thought, honestly, though. It's like, well, if you're going through all the effort to build the shop, brand it, get the word out, the movie is marketing, like, why not have Spokane's first queer bikini coffee stand?
That's I love this idea.
We'll sell DVD and VHS copies of the film. Everyone wakes up with coffee. It might as well be gay.
Love it. Well, I'm going to transition this to the longer part of the interview where we talk more about the Spokane-ness of the film and a bunch of other stuff. And but I'm so excited that this is happening, and that I know by the time the Seed and Spark campaign's over that it will be funded, and I'm just excited to see what happens next. And one more time, like, where can they go and what's the deadline to contribute to the Seed and Spark campaign?
Yes, you can go to seedandspark.com/fund/hotshots, HOTSHOTS. And you can donate there until the 20th. And then if you want to be part of the project after that point, hit us up at fatgratitude@gmail.com. We've also been working with a fiscal sponsor, so we'll be able to take tax-deductible donations after that point as well. So it doesn't stop on the 20th. We still need support forever. Indie filmmaking is a team sport. It takes a village, and Spokane, we're hoping you'll be with us and ours.
Yeah. I'll remind everyone too, like, go, if you can't give money, like, share on your story.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody tells people on this enough. Take a little extra time, go to the Seed and Spark page, copy that link, and then put it back into your story. Don't just share the link. I mean, you can do that. That still helps, but like getting people to that active page that like actually links out of Instagram, and so they actually go away from, you know, the social platform, like share the link. That really, really, really helps. So, well, Jeremy, Sherri, thank you again so much for this. I'm so happy we can finally release this episode. And I didn't even really, I'll probably say this in the beginning, but like, this is my first a Spokast episode to come out in like over 10 months. So like,
Bitch is back
with guests. I don't know if I'm back yet, but I'm feeling the itch to start podcasting and bringing Spokast about it. It seems like the community might need it, and I appreciate you both for being such champions of what I'm doing too, and always liking what I'm doing. And it's been fun to getting to know the both of you. So, and so yeah, here's the next part of the interview. Thank you both so much for joining me. I am sitting here with Jeremy Urann and Sherri Bylenga. Did I say it right? Bylenga of Fat Gratitude Productions. Thank you so much for joining me and being here.
Yeah, Brennan, happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you.
This is a long time coming. I've been trying to get you on the podcast for, almost the last time you were on Spokast. We released the episode on September 17th, 2020. Yes, it's been 4 years.
Wow, that's crazy. That was during COVID, huh?
It was during COVID. Like, it was like when everybody was like getting a little comfortable about getting out of the house. Mm-hmm. And I had my old friend Nate and Andrea on, and you were working at the Globe as a GM, and we had you on to talk about what you were doing there with all the. What were you doing there? I forget.
We launched it as an LGBTQ restaurant, and I just never stopped being queer. And now we're here launching a queer feature film.
That's amazing. And I guess I will want to mention, like, you're killing it in Hollywood. You've been doing, like, you are on that episode. I remember you telling us that, like, this is kind of sad, but I'm actually leaving Spokane because I'm modeling and I'm actually going to make the jump and kind of give it a go in Hollywood, and you're doing it.
Yeah, man, y'all were so supportive too. Everyone from Spokane has been so supportive. It's been it'll be 4 years in February.
Yeah,
of having left Spokane, working in LA as a plus size model, actor, dancer. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of moving behind the scenes into producing and directing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's been nonstop. It's so good to feel the support. People are like, oh, you're killing it. I feel like I'm still in the hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Working all the time, but it is good to step back and be like, oh shit. You know,
my like biggest moment of knowing that you made it was I was watching the premiere of Permission to Dance by BTS. And it was kind of a song that came out in like, I think it was 2021 or maybe, so it was an early job for you probably.
Yeah, one of my first.
And I was watching the premiere, and you were dancing in the video as like a janitor.
A janitor, yeah.
And I was like, I had to watch it multiple times, be like, is that Jeremy? And it was you. I reached out to you on Facebook, and you didn't even know, because you had signed like an NDA saying that, or you didn't even know what you were filming, right? You were.
Exactly. It was just a job listing. It said we need blue collar dancers. It's for an undisclosed K-pop artist. $500 a day.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, sign me up. Didn't audition with a broom. Good thing I practiced a lot at the nightclub. Yeah, cast me. We shot it on like 110-degree day in school, sweating. If you look at the video, I'm totally like pitting out and dying.
Yeah.
And then you were the first one to let me know when it came out. I had no idea I was in a BTS music video.
Yeah. Fun fact about that song has like over 800 million views on YouTube, and it peaked #1 in the United States on the Billboard Top 200. Like that's a humongous song to be a part of. So that's really, really cool.
That's wild. Yeah. I did not know those numbers.
I had to look them up.
Okay, good.
Sherri, you're the older sister of Jeremy.
Yeah. So there's actually 6 kids in our family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm the oldest.
Oh, nice. Are you youngest?
I'm second to youngest.
Okay.
And Sherri, always growing up, was the director of every play we put on as kids.
Yeah, we used to produce plays for our neighborhood. We got one of those early VHS camcorders that you had to hook up to like the orange extension cord, and we cast people from the neighborhood, and I think we created about every Disney story.
I got to play the Disney princesses.
That's awesome. What neighborhood did you grow up in?
Near Meadow Elementary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we went to the same high school at different times, but I grew up in Eaglewood. And so
North Side.
Yeah, North Side, very
You
much.
guys had good garage sales.
We did. We had very good garage sales. What have you been up to during this time? I guess we should get into like what we're here to kind of talk about your production company, Fat Gratitude Production. And does this preface your time going into Hollywood? Like, had you started this before? Like, what's the story behind Fat Gratitude Productions?
Yeah, so I mean, Jeremy and I both have been drawn towards film from a young age, and we've done that both independently and collaboratively.
Yeah.
So I did my bachelor's in broadcast communications at Gonzaga, and art is what I did for my undergrad. And then I worked in live sports, and then transitioned into documentary film.
Oh,
and worked on a lot of backcountry documentary film. I also raft guide and teach whitewater kayaking. So a lot of the documentaries I would make were in the backcountry, kind of surrounding extreme sports.
nice.
And then I've done some international documentary work as well. And then, when the pandemic hit, I had returned to Gonzaga and did my master's in clinical mental health. So I was working as a counselor through the pandemic, and we just really felt like, these are some bleak times. And it just felt like we could do so much good through art and also good for ourselves. Like it was cathartic to try and be a part of the bigger dialogue through art. And so that's when we founded Fat Gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to get more into a little bit more about some backcountry stuff. Like what kind of where would you find these like documentaries that you did? Like, what were they about? Like, is it storytelling of like, I watched one about these guys who went, I forget what river it was on, but they went down a crazy river in, I don't know what it's called, but like, I love like climbing movies, like obviously like Free Solo's like very famous, but like what kind of movies, what would we know, or could we see?
Yeah, so I really started off a lot of the raft companies that I would work for. There's a role called video boating. And so you follow along as the kayaker, and you're essentially capturing the customers going through all of the big rapids. And so it's sort of like their memento from the trip.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I got into the video boating aspect of it. I made a short documentary while I was still at Gonzaga about Gonzaga Outdoors, the outdoors program there. And then a feature-length project that I worked on was down in the Grand Canyon, and it's about guide culture in the Grand Canyon. And I mean, what it really explores is like, what does it mean to be human? In the Grand Canyon, the trips are up to a month long. And so, when you spend that much time with a group of people sitting around the campfire every night, hiking together, cooking together, cleaning together, surviving rapids together, there's sort of a different connection that happens. And a lot of guides during the off seasons were struggling with depression, and there was a pretty high suicide rate. So the project was started by a raft guide down in the Grand Canyon who just wanted to bring awareness to this and kind of explore, like, what does it really mean to be human? What sort of depth are we missing in our modern society? What connection to nature are we missing? And so that's really what that project explored.
That's really cool. That's so like storytelling seems like it's just kind of in your family. Like, where did this all come from? Like making plays at your home, and then like you going into acting, you becoming a documentarian, and like where did this begin?
It was always there. Yeah. We've been doing this since we could walk and talk. At our house on East Pine Glen, we had a bay window. So there was like a natural stage there. And we used that every night to put on a show. We have hours and hours of footage of us as kids.
That's amazing.
Dancing. I don't remember a time when we weren't.
I can't even remember a time we weren't playing through storytelling.
Forever. Yeah. It's funny because neither of my parents are in that world. My dad is like military, was a real estate agent, postman.
Okay.
My mom is like made to be a mother. She's worked every job, but neither of them wanted to be in the forefront or like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of funny as kids. Yeah. Yeah, it really came out.
But highly supportive, like your parents.
Highly supportive.
Yeah, highly supportive.
That's
absolutely.
Awesome. That's so like my kids do the same thing. They like want to like do little performances downstairs in the basement.
Yeah.
And I, as a kid who used to do this, I used to make people come to my house and watch me do little tiny performances. And I have kind of like I cringe when I do it, like watch my kids do it. So because like, I'm like, I made people do this to me too. But but I do obviously love, like, I don't perform, but I love, doing this, like talking to people.
Yeah, this is in the limelight. Absolutely.
Right. But that's awesome. What was like the first, what was your first, were you in the school plays? Like, did you do that?
Oh, I don't know if there was a school play I wasn't in.
Yeah, I definitely had theater all the way through high school.
So you both had Mr. Brown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we both did Godspell. And a murder mystery. He loved murder mysteries and Godspell.
So you would know my friend Adam Pitzler.
Oh, the name sounds so
he
familiar.
He was in, he was 2 years. I graduated with him, and he did all the plays as well. Like as a senior, I was like lived by the Carpe Diem motto of my senior year, and I was in Rumors by Neil Simon.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm a senior. This is the last play I could ever be in, and I got a part. And Mr. Brown was always supported because I took TV and radio.
Yeah. I took that as well.
And no longer exists apparently, but and it's probably it is probably a lot of why I love doing this, because I did TV and radio for I took it as an elective for 4 times, I believe, when I was between my junior and senior year. So no, I just love and I love the hearing that your parents were so supportive about it, because it's always, I hear so many stories of people not being supportive, and that's always I always think that's a shame, because it doesn't give people the push they need, right?
Well, yeah, for a lot of people, it's not even an option.
Right.
Yeah. And pursuing anything in the arts is putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. And without that support back home, it can be really tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't have probably made the leap to go to Hollywood if you didn't have support from your family, right?
Yeah. I mean, my mom, even when I was in middle school, would drive me to the Valley to do community theater, and she'd sit there through the entire rehearsal, which was probably horrible. painful. As I'm like a jack in the box, and then have to drive me all the way back. You know what I mean? And she did that. And then through college, my 5-year theater degree, they supported me.
Yeah.
And then leaving for Hollywood the last time, they were so sweet.
Yeah.
They've always been there.
That's awesome. So let's talk about this. So you've received a Spokane Arts grant. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Spokane Arts grant, SAG grant. And that's a humongous honor to be able to get that, to help support this. Is it a feature film, Hot Shots? That's awesome. I don't really know where to go from. What happened first? Where did this idea, where should we start at?
Let's talk about the project.
Yeah, let's talk about Hot Shots.
So Hot Shots is a feature film. It's a romantic comedy, and it centers queer joy.
Okay.
All takes place over one hot, sultry summer here in Spokane in the world of bikini barista stands.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get this idea from?
Actually, my grandpa's funeral.
Oh, sorry.
My uncle, we were on the way to the funeral, and he took us through a bikini barista stand, which I didn't know what that was at the time. And I don't know why he took us, but I remember the electricity went out in the stand, and the girls had to come out in their bikinis and lingerie and go downstairs into like a little bunker to flip the breaker. And I was like, what is this thing that people do work in these shops? And so that's been in my mind since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I went on to work in nightclubs and work in my underwear and be a go-go dancer. And I spent some time on a pole. And I really love queer community, and I love sex workers, and I love celebrating people who put body positivity and sex forward, you know, in a positive way. And I think we're so inspired by bikini baristas and what they do, and we want to celebrate that community. And it's so specific to the Northwest. Sherri, what states?
Washington, Oregon, and Texas.
Oh, wow. That's the
Yeah.
only states that allow like bikini baristas to work.
It may be expanding,
Yeah.
but those are sort of the stronghold states at the moment. And Washington was really sort of at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have more than any other, and it's so specific to our city, and and even drive-through coffee stands, we have more than any other city in America.
Yeah.
So Spokane is crazy about its drive-through coffee stands and its bikini coffee stands. And we thought, what a cool way to like toe the line between empowerment and objectification by using one of these shops that starts out with June, our protagonist, you know, kind of under the tyrannical rule of Roy, her boss, but she dreams of making the coffee shop her own. And through the film, we really get to see her come into her power and own her queerness and allow that to like blossom through the shop and the very sexy crew that she rallies together.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. I like, and this is all like, so kind of how you laid it out to me when you asked to, like, if it'd be possible to get you on to talk about all this is you're going to film this in Spokane.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it important for you to film it here? Like, you could have filmed it in, like, you can film it a lot of places, obviously, but like, why did it make sense to film here?
Well, for one, we're from here. It's our hometown, you know, and Spokane, both of us have lived other places, moved away for a significant amount of times and then come back. And I think anyone who's from Spokane would agree, like it has a special character to it. Like it has both a charm and a grit to it that is very unique to this place. And we just really wanted to honor that. We wanted to honor our experience of Spokane growing up and honor that these shops, really, this is sort of a Pacific Northwest phenomena.
Yeah.
And just get to celebrate with the queer community in Spokane and just, you know, really create space to center that joy, because so often, you know, through stories, it's important to talk about hardship. It's important to talk about struggle, but to really create space where it's all just focused on joy and empowerment. I think we're just in a moment in the world where that's just a powerful thing. And the more that we own our space and create space for people to constantly be evolving and exploring who they are as a person, who they are in their sexuality, just allows people to live more genuinely and create more genuinely. And if we're all stepping into our power, like that is, I mean, that's an exponential, we're all catalyzing one another.
100%. That's very powerful.
That and Washington Filmworks is creating an environment with their incentive where you can get your story reimbursed up to 40% for money spent in Washington.
Wow.
Especially if it's telling an underrepresented story or community.
Yeah.
So that, along with Sherri participating in the fellowship, and then us both doing 6 months of the hardest mentorship I've done. The hardest thing I've done in my entire life has been the last 6 months, getting our project to the point it is now, where we're ready to be sharing it and we're laying the groundwork for production.
Yeah.
Washington Filmworks has really made that possible in a really cool way. We're first time co-writers, co-directors, and it's hard to get that shot without a little legitimacy and backing.
So what, you went through a mentorship program?
So I started Washington Filmworks. There's a lot of incentives going on right now in Washington for film work. And so it's really beautiful that Washington has prioritized, you know, Washington-based film workers and also voices from previously or historically underrepresented communities. And for Jeremy and I, that's being part of the queer community.
Yeah.
I identify as queer, pansexual.
I'm homo.
And so I was lucky enough to participate in the very first cohort of Washington Filmworks Educational Forum, Above the Line Educational Forum. So for emerging directors and producers.
Yeah.
And so over the course of I think about 8 months, we got to meet with industry professionals and listen to panels and ask questions that are hard to ask in the real world. And then from that pool of 30 people, 5 projects were selected for the mentorship. And HOTSHOTS is one of those projects.
Awesome. That's awesome.
There's something queer in the coffee.
Yeah, that's our tagline.
That's awesome. Why is it important that like we keep the film industry in our state? Because we think a lot about, Vancouver as being a place. I mean, now Georgia is a big place. Things are getting filmed. Obviously, California, but like, I mean, I feel like a lot of stuff was getting filmed in Spokane, but some of it still does. But like, why? But why is it important that we keep that industry here?
Man, we want to be part of the opportunity we wish we had when we grew up here. Like if this had been here when I lived here, I would not have left. But now I live in Los Angeles and I'm so eager to bring some of that magic back home. And because Spokane is popping off with creatives and people who are passionate, and the queer community is alive and well, but maybe there aren't the opportunities to express it that there are in larger cities. And I want to be part of bringing that home. Yeah. And this project is the perfect fucking one to do it. When we talk to people, when we meet with them, they're so excited about something queer, something positive. There's dance, there's sexy. It's so Pacific Northwest. And projects like that are not that common here, especially like feature films.
Yeah. Well, I would say, especially independently, like locally made by people that are from Spokane.
Right.
Like I feel like there are maybe people coming in here to maybe film movies here, but they're not necessarily local. But I don't mean, I still think it's important to have the industry here. I mean, I think recently, like, why can't I think of the movie with Casey Affleck and Zooey Deschanel?
Dreamin' Wild.
Dreamin' Wild. It was filmed here, but like, and that was a big studio film. But I mean, and you always hear about a couple of movies that are being filmed, but like there's no, I know there's currently no TV. There might be something being filmed here for TV up on a soundstage and
going home up a studio A.
Yeah. But I think it's important to have more of it.
Yeah.
Spokane stories told by people from Spokane.
Exactly.
And it's really important to us. We want to both cast and crew hyper local and hyper queer
and hyper female.
Yeah. So we want to produce this and earn the reframe stamp, which also promotes gender equity in roles, because women are really grossly underrepresented in film production. Yeah. And so that's another thing that's really important to us. And to bring the story to life with people who are from Spokane, who both love and struggle with the city. Yeah. Because that's what it takes to grow as a city and to grow culture in a city, is that tension.
Right. How many people do you think will it take to get this film off the ground?
I mean, as far as actual crew goes, a crew of around 25 to 30, depending on the days and the needs of the day. And we'll be scaling crew based on the needs of the day. Yeah. We're going to be very nimble. It'll be very indie style. But also something that's super important to us is that it's also like a very intentional set. And so we're scheduling our days at 10-hour days, never going over 12, which in this industry, a lot of times days 16, can go 14, 19. 16.
Yeah. When you're looking for like a crew, like how do you find like a...
Well, they need to be fabulous. It's really, man, it's like a marriage. Like it's creative collaboration, especially on the indie level, because you do wear a couple of hats when you're moving forward in indie production. It's got to be like a synergy on the philosophical and art level. It's not just about the final product. It really is about the process.
Yeah.
And about the community that you build. Like your project is only going to be as strong as the team that you build, but also the vibe on set, Yeah. And so it's all about creating an environment where all of us can co-create, collaborate, and do our best art. Yeah. Because if it's too stressful or too hierarchical, it's just, there's not as much room for sort of that art to flow.
Well, let's talk about getting the SAG grant, because
it's our first money in.
It's your first money in. And that's important when you're trying to get more people, like saying, we already have some of the money. We need more of it now.
Totally.
What does it mean to get a grant from Spokane Arts?
I mean, I think it feels huge.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is both a love letter and wake up letter to Spokane, it just feels, it's really powerful to have our community behind us in that way.
Yeah.
Because it really is a labor of love.
Yeah.
Any film is, and it has to be if it's going to make it across the finish line. And so, no, I mean, it's hugely encouraging.
And to all the people who are out there thinking about applying to the Spokane Arts Grant for their own projects, know that this is our 5th time applying to Spokane Arts Grant and our only time being accepted. And that's not me speaking down. That's saying it's competitive.
Yeah.
And what won them over, like, we were so blessed. They told us that, like, queer joy, the message of queer joy is what, and it like ended up having them grant us the project. And so we're really running with that as our inspiration. And when we get feedback from people, when we pitch this movie, queer joy is what resonates. I think in this bleak era, we need hope, and we need something to celebrate and rally around.
100%. Yeah. It is very sad when you like look into the world of like how the LGBTQ community is treated. I struggle with a lot, like, seeing, especially happen in Spokane and nationally, like it's kind of sickening. And I think stories like this are very helpful because it humanizes people and makes them realize, like, we see bikini baristas and we think, oh, like they must have gone somewhere wrong in their lives to get here. But like, really, like, it's not that. It's more about celebrating people for this wanting to be alive. I don't know. Like, it seems so strange to me that there are a group of people that you'll probably get hateful comments from.
Of course.
And like the fact that you even have to deal with that I think is bullshit. But
I think these women are brave.
Yeah.
Brave to put themselves out there, especially in a city like Spokane that's so polarized in people's views.
Yeah.
People tend super left or super right.
Yeah.
And I love these women. I absolutely love people who put themselves out there. I'm a big supporter of sex workers and think that bringing positivity to sex and the conversation in our country is important. Yeah. We're so scared of it, but like it's so human. It's the most human thing on earth, you know?
Yeah, that's very, very, very true.
It's also really interesting how differently the queer community approaches sexuality. And so, in the film, the shop transitions from sort of a place of objectification into a place of empowerment. But there's always that tension that's being drawn back and forth. Yeah. And I think it's just a moment to kind of show sort of the openness and the celebratory nature of sexuality in the queer community. Yeah. And how it is a little bit less hierarchical because there's just a lot more flavors going on.
Yeah, gender roles are blurry. We don't have to subscribe to like who is usually in power. Yeah. We play with that. And it's like we talk a lot about the queer aspect because that's such an inspiration to us. But at the end of the day, Hot Shots is a human story. Yeah. And we hope that everyone will relate to these characters and their struggles. This isn't an agenda film that we're pushing, like it has to be this certain way. These are about people trying to make it in this world right now and doing it through love and community. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Real characters who just happen to be queer, learning to open their heart, follow their dream, build a space of community where everybody can do that together.
While shaking their ass.
And making good tips.
Yeah.
Have you found a shop yet from it?
We're getting close.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we may build our own just so we can shoot any way we want. With removable walls and all that. But we're open to all kinds of things. Honestly, we're looking for a killer parking lot.
Yeah.
The energy of Sprague Street definitely is an inspiration to us. And there's a lot of different pockets in Spokane that sort of offer that grit and that industrial energy.
That is interesting. I'm like thinking of all the places you could film this at.
Specifically, the Spokane Arts Grant is to secure our locations.
Okay.
That's why they gave it to us, because we have been looking at some places and in conversation. So that money allows us to secure it ahead of time so we can move forward with production. Yeah. Yeah. So just a baby part of the budget, but really important.
Are you looking for like private, like funding from like other producers?
Oh, yes. Yes. We welcome financial support in any way, small or big. Yeah. We definitely it's a big benchmark of money that we need to raise. And we're definitely, another reason we want to make this film in Spokane is because we want to tap into our Spokane community. There's so many people in this community who are supportive of the queer community and who do want to see art that is local, comes from local, film local. And we're hoping they really come out to support this.
Yeah, me too. I was going to ask about like you working together as siblings. Like, how many projects have you worked on? I mean, obviously, taking out like your stuff you did as children, but like, what other things have you worked on together?
I don't know. Our Sleeping Beauty production was pretty good.
I mean, we really truly have not stopped collaborating.
Yeah.
I mean, but really starting Fat Gratitude Productions was sort of the beginning of our official collaboration where we're working with clients, co-directing, co-producing, and co-writing short films.
2 narrative short films.
2 narrative shorts.
A music video. And we're in post-production on a mini documentary.
Oh, wow.
Right now as well for a local nonprofit organization.
Okay. Is that under wraps? Okay.
Yeah. Details to come, but they're incredible. And that will be announced hopefully by the time this comes out, we'll have more info. Yeah.
Where is the future of Fat Gratitude Productions?
Well, yeah, so we really, our whole mission with Fat Gratitude is to elevate and amplify the work of do-gooders and artists. Because both of us just feel that like people who are out there hustling, trying to create, trying to do something positive, those are the stories we want to help amplify.
Right.
And so, yeah, we actually, I think they would be totally fine with us
Totally,
sharing.
they would be good, yeah.
So we have been collaborating with Terrain.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so,
nonstop.
Yeah. So actually we're about to release a whole artist spotlight series featuring 8 local Spokane artists and the impact they're making.
That's awesome.
And a mini documentary about Terrain as an organization.
Yeah.
Where they started and hopefully where they're headed.
So you've been following these artists locally.
Yeah.
And cool. That's awesome. I cannot wait to see these stories.
It's been a fun project. We have been going into so many different people's realities and their creative process.
Yeah.
From painters to dancers to musicians.
Yeah.
It's been an honor and a delight.
To have an artist invite you into their studio, which is like the most personal space for them, and sit down with them with a camera, with a microphone in their face and like tell you their life story is the biggest honor. I can tell you how many times I just cried during production as these people opened up and shared their hearts. And we are so excited to share their stories. We're sitting on them right now, waiting for the release.
Yeah, you've been working on this for a really long time.
Oh, yeah, years.
3 years.
Yeah. Nothing in film is quick.
That's the truth of it.
I was gonna how have you been bouncing around from LA and doing all this?
Brennan, I just don't stop bouncing. I mean, my time, I am based in LA with my fiance, Kenny.
Yeah.
And we work together constantly. He's a photographer.
Okay.
So we're always shooting together, but a lot of my work takes me all over the country.
Yeah.
And sometimes international as well. So I'm always on the move. So Spokane is kind of part of that. And it's just about keeping all the balls in the air.
Sorry.
Yeah. Lots of balls. Balls.
But I mean, yeah, that just seemed, me just trying to bounce around Spokane by like doing what I do here, like you trying to do it in multiple different cities seems a lot.
Yeah.
But it's awesome that it is really cool to see you come back to Spokane and create something here. And it seems like you've been doing a lot of that already and kind of behind the scenes. This is what I talk to a lot of artists, musicians, you should try to leave Spokane, if you can, because you're only going to get better. And if you have the ability to come back and give back, that's even more powerful. I feel like to be able to, go and have experiences and then learn and then be able to, bring back that to Spokane it's how Spokane's going to get bigger and better and just have more arts in it, because I feel like our arts community is already so strong, but it can get stronger by having people who have experienced the, LA and, the bigger spotlight and, and a lot of people just, they never come back and they don't. And that's also sad, but it's very, very, very cool that to see your success and to see the growth and I'm sure I don't know as much about your career, but I'm sure you said you left Spokane as well, right?
Yeah, so I worked as a fine artist, as a painter, and then also an independent film for 10 years outside of Spokane. So after finishing undergrad, moved during that time and, hung art shows in galleries and restaurants from North Carolina to Arizona. I lived in Flagstaff and Montana. And when I came back to Spokane as sort of a younger artist, I really had a hard time finding that same synergy for showing my art here. And it wasn't until I hung in a terrain show that I finally felt like, oh, I'm like breaking through to the community that is here, but that I was having a hard time finding, which was a huge inspiration for us going back and working with them and collaborating with them and wanting to amplify their work because they're making space for emerging artists and established artists to be together and to share that energy and that inspiration. And that's what you need. That's what you need to keep the arts culture going and evolving.
Are you based in Spokane now?
Yeah.
Nice. Spokane's a vortex. I tell people like, it's like, I know so many people who have left and then have moved back because they're just like, Spokane is special in that sense. But
something about it.
There's something about it. I've never moved away, so I can't really say that I've ever experienced the vortex, but maybe someday. Maybe I'm only 40 years old, so I could definitely move away. I always say my twins are very obsessed with like moving away. And I was like, oh, someday they're going to like maybe become famous and I'll just move away with them. And then I'll end up back in Spokane. Not that they have to move away to become famous. Well, one of the last questions I want to ask before I ask the last question is for like aspiring filmmakers, for people that are part of the LGBTQ community who are looking for a voice or looking for a place to get started or they're looking for support, like where would you recommend them to start looking?
Well, I would say we'll just speak to filmmakers, but also artists. But for any filmmakers, sort of, if you have that passion in your heart, and no matter what else it is that you're doing, you keep thinking about how you would line up that shot or what that character would do in this situation. If you're one of those people who just can't not think and dream about film, then go for it. Yeah. And it isn't an easy industry. But if you have the passion for it and you just feel so strongly that you can't put these stories down, then it is the place for you. Yeah. And, we're in an age where technology is so available to us. The quality of footage that we can take even on our phones is astounding. Yeah. And so I would say, we're lucky. We're siblings who both have this passion and love to co-create. But find just one other person who shares that passion. See what you can build together. Put it out there, and then build from there because that art will draw more people in. But it is about teamwork and it is about community. And so you have to take that first step of vulnerability to inviting people in. But then the momentum that it can build from there, it's blowing us away.
Yeah.
I think this question brings me back to my early theater days. I remember my first play outside of school at a community theater, and I really felt out of place as a kid, like I didn't fit in. Yeah. Just a queer kid who hadn't figured it out yet, And I came home from my first rehearsal and I told my mom, I think I found my species. Like I feel like I belong somewhere for the first time. And I found safety through high school before I came out in the theater scene. And then in college, I found community and support in the theater scene. And I've continued to seek out that community and support now in the larger filmmaking industry. And it's about surrounding yourself with people who encourage you and challenge you and challenge you to make something honest and true and what you wish you could see in the world. Share a part of yourself in the process and find people like Sherri. I fucking love this woman. She is my sister, my brother, my creative partner. We do everything. I'm on the boat with her 8 hours a day. But truly, find the people who keep your fire burning and inspire you to create.
Yeah. I love that. Well, the final question I always ask everyone before they get off is, why Spokane? And I meant to go back and look at and listen to your answer, but I forgot to. But why Spokane?
Why not Spokane, man? We're two kids from the north side with big fucking dreams. You know, we felt we had to leave to pursue those dreams. And I want kids who grow up here to feel like they can do it, you know, where they're born. Tap in. Tap the fuck in. That's why Spokane.
Yeah.
That.
Well, Jeremy, Sherri, thank you so much. And I'm excited to see this next half a year of watching Hot Shots become like happen and be filmed here in Spokane, and being able to follow along and hopefully be able to help out in ways, in any way I can. And I know there's a lot of people that are listening that will definitely want to help out where they can. But I think the most important way to help out would be, you know, open up your wallets and donate some money and let's make this happen. So
let's make it happen.
So thank you again to everyone listening. Until next time, peace.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is up? Thank you for making it this far. It is me, Brennan, again. If you clearly did make it this far, you obviously love Jeremy and Sherri as much as I do. So real quick, one more time, everything that you need is in the description of this episode. The Seed and Spark campaign, where every dollar that you donate is going to be getting matched and doubled through August 20th. Their website, hotshotsthemovie.com. Their Instagram, hotshotsthemovie. Pledge if you can. Follow if you can't. It's free and it really, really helps. But either way, share that link in your story. Share it on your Facebook. Send it to your group chat. Send it to your coworker. Send it to your mom. Send it to someone you know that would love to see this movie get made. So thanks again for listening. Thank you again to Jeremy and Sherri. Let's talk again soon, Spokane. Maybe. We'll see.
Fucking, but it's lovely, humping, bumping uglies, what a fun thing, nothing, but it's something, what I'm wanting, it's a real freak bitch with a tongue ring, you know that one girl that do that one thing, she made it disappear, she a mind freak, she ain't playing games like a bye week, when I touch down, show me to the end zone, show me anything but the